By my late 20s, I thought I'd seen every kind of unfinished room a city could hide. That night, we were finishing out a new basement under a forensic dental clinic as the worst storm of the year tore along the coast. There were 3 of us on the job, but by late evening, I was the only one still in the basement. The lights went out like someone had cut a string. 1 second, the strips were humming. The next, everything dropped into a thick, absolute black that felt physical. Before I could find it, a sound floated down the corridor. It was a subtle, irregular rattling, just loud enough to cut through the muffled storm. The sound was coming from the tiny bathroom at the end of the hall, the one with the half-hung door we hadn't bothered to latch. I found the flashlight at last, snapped it on, and sent a narrow beam down the corridor. The rattling stopped as soon as the light touched the door. At the bathroom entrance, I paused with my hand on the edge of the door, palm pressed to cold wood. I yanked the door open and threw the beam into the room. Someone was standing in the far corner, facing the wall. Then their head turned. Their body stayed pointed at the wall, but the head rolled around, quick and smooth, like a deer reacting to a twig snapping. The flashlight caught their eyes. I didn't see a face, just 2 glassy points flaring back the beam, reflecting in a way that felt wrong, as if the light were coming from behind them. I slammed the door so hard it bounced off the frame and half opened again. I hit it a second time, heard it connect, and bolted. My coworkers were under the awning with their jackets on, phones raised, arguing with the weather app and the dead cell service. "Is anyone else in the building?" I demanded. We were done for the night. I dragged them down anyway. When we reached the bottom, the bathroom door stood wide open. The corner was empty. No one in the storage rooms, no one under the stairs, no fresh prints on the lightly damp floor that weren't ours. They headed out, shaking their heads, their disbelief louder than anything they said out loud. Rain battered the windshield in sheets. The building loomed ahead in silhouette, all its windows dead and blank. I should have driven away. By the time I noticed I'd made a decision, the engine was off, and I was back at the door with the key. Inside, the silence felt different, deeper, as if the building were holding its breath beneath the storm. I took my flashlight in one hand and used my phone's light in the other, not willing to trust a single beam anymore. Halfway down, the smell hit. Damp concrete, wet wood, and something faintly metallic underneath, like the inside of a jar of old coins. I reached the last step and stopped. From here, I could see the corridor, the open storage rooms, and the bathroom door at the end, hanging in that same, not quite closed position. I told myself I'd stand there for 5 seconds. I barely reached 3. The rattling started again. It was gentler now, but more deliberate. Each dry click and slide was spaced almost evenly, like whoever held those small, hard pieces wanted me to count them. I raised both lights, training their beams on the narrow gap between the door and the frame. The rattling stopped mid-click. Something small dropped on the other side and rolled slowly across the unfinished floor until it tapped the baseboard with a hollow knock. "Hello," I managed. There was a brief, careful pause from the other side of the door. Then, from the corner I couldn't see, in a dry whisper that matched my cadence exactly, I heard my own voice repeat the same word back too.
Like, share, subscribe.